Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. So last few weeks, our boy here, Mr. Brath, has been demonstrating his ability to, well, let's just say land them softly on the green. You're no stranger to some dynamic loft, RB.
Very true. High floaters.
High floaties. So we're kind of going to do a two-part video here. We're going to look at an iron fit for you today. And we're also going to talk a little bit about some of the delivery stuff. We're going to lead you into, what we think could be some of the things to get a little bit more horsepower out those irons. We're not going to go straight to an iron that's just, strictly stronger in loft, very, P7, 90-ish. We are going to talk a little bit about what you need to do in your delivery in order to, naturally deliver less loft. You've told the story yourself. You are, busy guy, young family, you don't have all the time. You don't have the facilities and resources to practice every day. So it's not like you can go ahead and work in a swing change. You're going to have to, utilize some manageable thoughts and techniques to try and bring that flight down a little bit.
Yeah, Canadian winters, December, January, February, not a lot of practicing going on, really. Yeah. So for me, it's about when I go to the golf course, even during in season, right? Like the big thing for me is being able to know where the golf ball is going, manage, my dispersion as best as possible to shoot lower scores.
For sure.
And, most of the time breaking 80 isn't really a huge press for me. But I also know that I feel like there's a lot more that could be had when it comes to certain elements of my game. And my iron game, as far as distance is concerned, is certainly something I know I would benefit from.
Love it. We all know Ryan is a Mizuno aficionado. Loves a Mizuno.
Captain Mizuno.
Captain Mizuno. So we have those for Ryan to try here, but we're open, aren't we, to trying some other things and seeing what else is out there in the market. Wink, wink.
Everyone calls me Mr. Mizuno, but I'm brand agnostic when I tell people for fitting and stuff. And so, yeah, whatever's going to work. I know I have the idea of the category. I always think of the stronger lofted kind of players cavity irons always work for me quite well, and I think that's probably anything in that category I'm open to try.
Let's start exactly there then. So we've got your MMCs. Tell us a little bit about the spec and setup in those, RB.
Yeah, Mizuno MP20 MMC. Had these for a couple of years now. It's kind of a set that I just continually gravitate back towards. Elevate Tour, stiff flex, standard length. I think a degree stronger as far as loft is concerned, but other than that, pretty stock.
They were at standard for our machine there, 28.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah. So for me, I'm not doing anything outside of the ordinary. Just kind of my set. I think it's a little bit flatter for sure. I like to. Again, I don't want to try. I try not to see it go left. I don't mind if it goes a little high and right.
Yeah.
Not a problem, obviously. So for me, it's just if I can just flatten that flight, I know there could be a lot more out of it because descent angle again is not a problem.
Love it. Okay, let's get a few baseline shots here. Let's see what we're working with. How far do you normally sort of expect to hit 6 iron?
Very comfortably in my head, middle of the green, flag that thing, it's 165. But okay. I feel like recently we've been seeing 160 is probably the pretty comfortable high land soft yardage. So
love it.
Little toey there.
That would be pretty typical right there, wouldn't it?
That would be, I think of that as my stock shot. Yeah.
RB, some people watching this video will be saying to themselves right now, why is he playing an elevate shaft? Why is he playing a shaft that's designed to get the ball up in the air a little bit more? I know you touched on this on your Instagram this weekend. Maybe talk to us a little bit about that.
I've gone back and forth steel and graphite a lot. I've used a number of different graphite options from a lot of different companies in that kind of 95 to just 100 gram range in the past. I prefer something that's heavier though. I always prefer that weight. This shaft has VSS, so it has that vibration dampening system, vibration suppression system, VSS. So with that, when I do happen to miss one skinny or miss one lower on the face, it doesn't hurt. Elbow is generally like the issue for me, and that's why when I use this, I it masked a miss just from a vibration standpoint. I know from a dynamic standpoint, it could potentially be better, but I just gotten very used to this, so that's kind of why I use it.
Love it. Very cool. Okay, let's get you in your setup. Let's talk technique for a second, okay?
All right.
So let's just set up to this one for me. Okay. So we're going to talk a little wrist angle stuff. Always important when you see someone with a high dynamic loft that you come in and you look at what do we see from a grip perspective. Very, very weak left hand. Okay, very, very few players, unless you have excessive flexion in your lead wrist, can play with, a high amount of iron distance with a left hand that weak. Quite good for accuracy. Good iron players in the past have had a weaker left hand. Olathibal springs to mind, somebody who was an exceptional iron player, but it leans into probably some more capabilities with the short game than it does with the longer stuff. When you get, and that probably speaks a little bit about your game. Yeah, exactly. I know as we've seen, like, hit everything high, drivers high. Loft has been a crutch for me, and that's why I use it. Why I use less loft in almost anything that I have in my bag. For sure. So I'm not going to change your grips. The hardest thing to change in that, our sensory system is so focused in on the hands. So let's just talk a little bit about that kind of wrist flexion. So again, take your setup for me. Okay. Just take the club back to club parallel, shaft parallel. Good. Okay. Conventional wisdom, or old school wisdom taught us that was square. That's a wide open club face, right? We need that to be matching your spine angle. Okay, so if your spine angle is right there, look where your wrist needs to be, very Dustin Johnson-esque. So one of the things, if you can back down, so one of the things I kind of want you to almost think of in that lead wrist is just a little curl under, right? Yeah. So rather than seeing that early forearm rotation, we're going to keep the point of your elbow down. So we're not going to turn it and rotate it. We're going to keep that point of your elbow down, and we are just going to get a little curl in that lead wrist into sort of that point there. That's your kind of first reference point, right? So you'll feel some pressure. So normally what people see is a little bit of forearm pressure. You can actually see that muscle in the forearm does to bulge a little bit. Oh, look at those Popeye forearms. Right, but that's you. So you've immediately established pressure. Pressure's a good thing. It's a gauge, something that we can use when we go through the swing. If you swing and you feel nothing but freedom, what are you using then to guide your way through that? Nothing really. Yeah. But you have a little bit of a pressure gauge here that will help you with this club face. Okay. So come back to the start. Okay, so we're going to go through that a couple times together. Okay, so good. A little more under that way. Okay, good. And then let's kind of work it up into the backswing a little bit more, so halfway up. Okay, keep that there. Okay, so I know it's tough, but you want to kind of almost feel like you've got that DJ kind of position at the top.
The reason is I broke my wrist playing hockey as a kid.
Lead wrist?
This one. So to go back, I don't have the, speaking to the Golf Lab video we did recently, I don't have the flexibility, and I can feel like almost like a pin. It does.
You're kind of flexible. Your end of your range of motion.
Yeah. So I know, like, again, I can feel that.
Yeah.
That's why if I go to hit a draw, like I kind of I just kind of neutralize and go this way.
And that's the other part, right? Yeah. So there's one part path, one part face, because as we go through the numbers here, we can see you're predominantly out to in. There's messaging that goes to the club face then. So if we're swinging the club left, the face has to be right. We're going to switch that relationship. We're going to move the path right, so the face has to be left. That'll take a little bit of pressure off the flexion in the lead wrist, and it will help us just deliver that with a little bit more rotation, okay? So I would like to kind of go at it both ways and take a bit of both. So you'll probably, find it harder with the wrist, and you'll find it a little easier with the alignment. So let's see what that does.
All right.
Excellent. I know it was a little bit heavy, but look how much more you got out of it already.
Fast learner, RB. Those were a good strike. I mean, it was a little chunky, but...
Look how much that ball speed, popped up.
Yeah.
when that was a heavy one and it was the second best for ball speed. See with that dynamic loft, 27. Path changed nicely, really good.
Peak height dropped a bit too.
Love it, love it. Okay, so you can even push that start line a little more right. So on the cursor there, RB in the screen.
Yep.
Start it out there for me, and really just that lead wrist, get that curling under in the takeaway. Tremendous.
Yeah, good swing.
Tremendous.
I feel like Kenny Perry.
It's great. I mean, and you will be shocked how neutral your delivery numbers are, right? So 2.5 down, 4.9 in, 2 out, 22.9 delivered loft. That's really about good. What we would like to see. Lie angle is a little bit toe up now, which is good. Okay, couple more, just like that.
Oh, well left it open.
Tremendous.
Yeah, great swing. Strike sounds so much better.
So much better, doesn't it? Yeah.
I felt like I left that really open there, and
yeah, and it wasn't. It was more just a straight shot, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, very slight rightward spin axis, but pretty good. Okay, one more.
All right.
And then we're going to get into some clubs here.
Great swing.
Yeah, really good.
New man. Set of blades coming up.
Well, it's important to establish, something that we think will help Ryan, because it's going to shape the fitting.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're going to probably pull different heads now than we would have 10 minutes ago, based on the fact that we've kind of shown you a slightly different delivery pattern. Looks like it's something that you can embrace nicely. There's certainly no lack of height. 107 peak height is plenty. Angle of descent 48.6. It's certainly a little bit better than the kind of 50s that we were 51, 50. We don't need to be landing it that soft. So I think when we're all said and done, 185 is a very achievable carry number for you, RB, on the 6-iron, based on the fact you swing it very close to 90 miles an hour the whole time.
As you've seen, didn't take that many swings to adjust to try and hit that draw to feel that swing.
Yeah.
I just, it's always like the battle of what's possible versus what I feel comfortable on the golf course. It's what I fight. I think what a lot of golfers fight. Yeah. I watched a swing tip video. I hit a couple draws in the range, and then I go back out to the golf course, and I know that I'm comfortable with a fade, right? And that's what I think. Sure. For me, when it comes to iron, I know there's so much more optimization out there. Yeah. And I want to do everything I can to take advantage of it. Yeah.
I think also the role of the fitter in this scenario is, what do we give you that's achievable? Because I'm not going to give you 5 things and try and reshape your whole swing. That's why I don't want to touch your hands. That's why I don't want to, change anything other than just what way are you pointing? A little bit to the right. What does your wrist do in the takeaway? Just give you a little checkpoint, feel a little pressure in the forearm. Let's leave it at that. That's achievable, manageable, digestible, and not something that's really going to throw you off of the fit, where I'm going to compromise your day. You spent the time as a customer coming into a TXG, you've maybe taken time off work. I'm not going to ruin your day by getting you in here, start making wholesale swing changes, and then all of a sudden you can't hit it. You go, well, that was a waste of time. We're never wanting to do that, so we have to be mindful of that as well.
Yeah, we do it. The fits I do, I'm always, again, I'm not changing someone's swing, because we all know my swing needs help, but those little tricks that can, progress that fitting to actually get you into some product. RB, I'm like you, I'm a maintenance guy. I don't want to change the swing, but now comes to realization, okay, changing this will expedite it to this kind of thing. So good change. Fast learner for sure, but excited. Yeah, my mind's going different with some irons now for you.
Yeah, changes a little bit, doesn't it? Changes the perspective. Okay, let's grab something for you, RB.
Good swing.
Excellent there. Really, really like that. Okay, let's push that green back a little bit.
See, that was 20 yards game.
Uh-huh. This ain't no hobby, RB.
Great swing.
Yeah, really good. One thing to kind of just remember a little bit is the value of the downward angle of attack as well. That will push your start line a little bit more to the right. Like on that last one, when you get a little shallow, it's quite easy to get the face flipping left. So, you know, we know in sort of 3D space, the more the club is moving down, the more it's moving right. That will really help with your start line.
All right.
I think we're really trending on a much better delivery though, eh?
So much better. I mean, the strike sounds a bit more efficient.
Yeah.
Obviously, distance is huge too, which is nice. I mean, I'd put those in the bag right away. Fit done.
Now we're seeing efficiency, right? We've never really kind of talked about you being, you know, the most efficient use of your fast speed. But at 122 ball speed, I mean, I know there's still more to come. I mean, there is more to come. There's no doubt about that. And it's actually not like you're sacrificing any of the distance or stopping power, you know, that you were utilising. You're still at 50 degrees. We still have room to bring this down.
Peak height still at 120.
Tons. Yeah. I would like you at 110, about what your driver swing speed is. I'd like that to be your apex right now. So we've got another little bit of wiggle room. And while you're on the shallower side, I'm okay with that spin rate at 51.
Yeah.
You know, some people might say that's too low in the spin. Not when you're landing at 50 degrees, right? So if you get 3-4 down on it, we'll probably see a little flip around. So you'll probably start launching at 18 and a half, spinning at 56, that type of thing. You know, it'll be ideal. You've played a lot of lighter shafts. You've been trying some slightly heavier ones in your elevates. The AMT idea is to give you a little bit of a blend of both, give you that progression from the 4-iron at 112 grams all the way up to the 130-gram wedge shaft. Something that I think, you know, might be a nice blend for you while not utilising too much of a soft tip shaft. Now, we know shafts are not going to contribute massive amounts of launch and spin, but it's going to deflect in some way, shape, or form.
It's funny that you pulled these because before using the elevates, one of the steel shafts that I did use, and I still have in like a set kicking around somewhere, is a set of the original AMT tour shoes, so which is basically the white.
They were nice.
Right? So I always liked them. It was something that worked well, and I think the profile seems to work well for my swing, so Definitely. It's kind of funny that you pulled it. It's like, kind of we know what we're doing around here.
Love it, love it. Okay, let's see a few of this.
All right.
Hair thin, RB?
A little bit, yeah, just a touch. And that didn't feel like a great swing, but I feel like I got a lot out of it.
And that's where we're going to consider these types of head shapes. I mean, with T100S is a bit smaller than this. It's a bit more compact, but obviously, you know, we're factoring the same things into what we talked about earlier on. You're not playing golf all the time. You do like to grab, you know, half a set and go and play 9 holes from time to time, but not have to stress about, you know, being on your A game every single time. You've got enough sets of blades and cool stuff that, you know, you can go do that as well. But, you know, I think this is a slightly different option that we're looking at right now.
Yeah, it's, you know, there are times when I want to play golf to just have fun and get out and, like, hang with my friends and just hit shots around a golf course. And there are times when, you know, like, I am focused on, like, playing better. Like, I'm truly focused on wanting to perform on the golf course. And, you know, we talked about in the past, like, I have, like, a set that is, like, my set that has Arcos in it, right? Like, it's a set that I'm going to track my rounds and know my data. And then there's the other set that just kind of, like, goes in a bag and goes to the golf course and has some fun. And when I'm looking in this scenario, like, I am looking for the set that's going to perform. Like, I'm looking for the set that I'm going to take to the golf course to see my best results.
And selfishly, if we're going to put together this TXG Scramble team, we want you hitting those irons out there. No, that was a really good start. The other part of this as well is that the option of a combo set. So thinking about maybe being a 4-5-6 ZX5, 7 to wedge and ZX7, that type of thing potentially. But, you know, that's certainly something we can think about if this goes well. A beauty. Love that little, that little right to lefter.
A little flatter too, which is
so
nice.
Good. Comfortable 180 on the fly there.
I'm not, like, that was not a perfect strike, but it's like it's really cool to see the ball speed stay up and everything. So
yeah, a little low strike and you got away with it. I mean, I played ZX5, ZX7s last year, and when you catch one a little thin, it still performs like that, which is, you know, probably a reason why we do so well with the Strixon stuff. It's all around probably one of our favorite irons to fit with.
Nope. Gosh, there was like no release in that at all.
Now you're kind of slightly missing them to the right 118 there, which is great. So what we'd say about this one though is, I don't like the fact we've lost a little bit of, quite a lot of spin. That's kind of not ideal. That's a little bit less ball speed as well.
Yeah, that's dropped a fraction.
Okay, we'll get you out of that one. All right, RB, we're catering to you a little bit here. 225s. We love this iron, all seriousness. One that was obviously always going to be one of the ones we test. As 223 will be as well. We'll definitely want to see you hit that one. I would not be afraid to combo those either if I were you. So sticking with the AMT for now, right now trying to establish the variables, which is the head, which is the shaft, and once we see a head that we like. I'm just going to say though, after seeing what that ZX5 done, I kind of love what that T100S was doing.
So, I mean, T100S for me, maybe I put favorite source because I love the iron, but for you, I mean, I would have stopped the fit right there. I've been like, done, put a ribbon on it and call it a day.
I've been lucky to go to like Titleist to go through their fitting when the original T100 came out, and like I got fit like during that session into T100s. Is before the S came out, and then we bent them a little strong, and then the S came out afterwards. So it was always kind of like, oh man, that would be an iron that would probably work really well for my delivery. So when I hit those, which I, again, really first time hitting them in like an experience where I'm going to get numbers, I was pretty impressed.
Love it. Okay.
Good swing.
All right.
Swing.
Okay, switcher. So 225, yeah, it wasn't what we expected. Thought you would have fit in quite nicely into that one, and it was a little bit more of a challenge for you, whether that was just, you know, the balance of head and shaft or whatever it was. But we're back in the T100S. Loved how Ryan hit that one.
Yeah, top performer so far.
Definitely. Moving away from ascending mass shafts into constant weight shafts with the Oban 115. Have you played Oban steel before?
I never have. I know I hit it in a recent video where Mike and I were testing some stuff, so interested to see how it performs because I haven't tried it in this.
Okay. Nice, Ryan.
Good swing.
Stalling a little bit, but still decent. Try to like it's interesting trying to ingrain like a pattern. Like I know what it feels like. Like in my head, I know what it feels like. It's just being able to apply it over and over again.
I mean, the main thing is we're kind of monitoring the loft, the path, angle attack, efficiency. Like we're kind of keeping an eye on all that sort of stuff. It's all right, kind of roughly where it needs to be. Little fluctuations, like that one was shallower. So it was about 2 degrees shallower with 1 degree more dynamic loft. So all of a sudden, we're going to launch it a little bit higher. We're going to lose a little of that efficiency. So we're seeing those numbers fluctuate a little bit, but the kind of shape that we're going for is definitely there. Okay, got the right to left portion. It's a wee bit high. Remember, you're at the teeth of the wind.
Ended up in the bunker.
Maybe the 40-yard short of the bunker. At 115 feet, that would be eaten up. I love the finish that you're making there, though.
Yeah.
Right, that's kind of exactly how I envision your finish. Okay, and again.
There we go.
Really nice strike there. Just overcooked the shape a little bit. But with trying what we're trying here, I'm never going to have an issue with you doing that at all. And we've got a little bit to play with the lie angle as well. We could go a bit flatter based on that one, but That's what you should be getting there, like 92 at 127, ball speed, 138 efficiency.
Yeah, a bit of a spike there with the ball speed, which is nice to see.
Definitely, definitely. Okay, last but not least, we're going to go 223 with Mizuno. Yeah, how would you compare that to the AMT there with the old man?
I would say like it feels very close. Like for me, I always want to. I think that's why too I gravitate towards things that are lighter, or sorry, like a little softer, because I want to feel like it loads.
Yeah.
My tempo's not overly fast. I want to feel like it's not the right term, but like I'm getting compression. Like I feel like the shaft's loading with me is basically what I'm trying to feel. And I felt that with both of those. It's actually very close.
T100S is right in your wheelhouse. There's no doubt about that. One of the reasons I think you hit it so well is because you are a little bit on the shallower side. That narrow sole is doing really, really well for you to retain that contact, that ball speed from the contact. Some of the other ones, ZX5 was good, 225 was good, but just a little too wide in the sole and not nearly as consistent.
I think the fear with ZX5 is just that low spin.
Yeah.
That's the, you know,
Definitely.
I mean, you already hit it pretty high, but when you get into like the low fours, just gonna hit a green and go for miles. And that's not what we're looking for.
No. Okay, let's have a look at this. Back to the AMT. I really like this shaft for you, I have to say. I think it just makes perfect sense for someone like you.
I don't know what it is, and I know the shafts are very similar. I definitely feel like this one works so much better. Like it just times better. I don't know why, but right back in my hands, I feel like it's definitely the winner.
Hear the contact much better there? Much, much more crisp.
Could hear the air escaping from the ball.
The compression that they talk about. It's a tour thing.
Good swing.
What's the ball speed on that one?
Mm-hmm.
Holy smokes.
That's the one we're looking for right there. Okay, RB, I'm going to put you back into T100S. All right, RB, right back to the start. It sounds so good.
So good. Dunzo. Thanks for coming.
Mikey's off to get the credit card machine, RB.
Great swing.
Yeah, really good. Okay,
Finito.
borrow this. Just one little kind of final cherry on the top of the cake here.
Great swing.
Just a different noise.
Yeah.
Different quality of contact. And this is just you kind of getting used to something entirely different from a delivery standpoint. So what I was doing over there by the loft and lie machine a second ago, RB, was going really flat for you. So actually now that you're delivering it more in to out, you're bringing the handle down a little bit as well. So you're allowing us to flatten your clubs a little bit more, which is really, really nice. So just keep that face a little bit more to the right. Okay. And just progressively that efficiency is going up, up, up.
Yeah. Great swing. Money.
I would be doing you a disservice if we didn't end it right there.
Always end on a
perfect.
good one, right?
It was a perfect one. Love it. Centered, and everything about that is so good. Absolutely everything. Yeah, dynamic lies.
So
Beautiful.
good. Ball speed's up again.
Yeah,
Spins up in a better window. I mean, the whole thing is really, really good.
that's awesome. Okay, RB, we tried a few heads. We kind of, we knew your sweet spot in the shafts. I think AMT really is the ideal shaft for you. It has a lighter long shaft, slightly heavier short iron shafts. I'd love to do another follow-up video when you build up some clubs and kind of see how you talk about that and explain that transition to the viewers. I think that's important.
Totally. I'm excited for you to get these in the bag. And hopefully maybe me too.
Love it. Okay, guys. hopefully you can see that it's a perfect example of what we do in a fit as a progression when we get somebody who is losing a little bit of distance. Typically, someone like Ryan will come in, one of the first things they'll say to us is they hit their driver proportionately quite long, but they really don't get much out the irons. They struggle a bit in the wind. All those telltale things are in there for someone like Ryan. So if that sounds like you, this is definitely a good video for you to watch, and some little pointers when you go for your next fit as to where you can get those incremental gains.
Definitely.
Love it. Okay, stay tuned for more. We'll see you again soon.